And finally, on today's episode, let's turn to David Trim for a look at Adventist history.
Welcome to This Week in Adventist History. On June 19 in 1968, the Stanborough Nursing and Maternity Home in Watford, England, was closed. In 1903, the Adventist Church had established two sanitariums in England, one in the country's Midlands and one in the outer western suburbs of London. Stanborough Sanitarium was founded in Watford, to the north of London, in May 1912, with an American missionary physician, Dr. Charles Henry Hayton, as medical director. The other two sanitariums were closed and sold in 1913 and 1923, and medical work in Britain focused on Stanborough. It did notable work and was successful for 25 years, while its nursing school trained many missionary nurses. During the 1930s, a determined effort was made to enlarge the institution to a 100-bed hospital and to gain accreditation for the nursing school. However, this dream had still not been realized when World War II broke out and Stanborough Sanitarium was nationalized. It was returned to church control in 1946, but in 1948, Britain introduced free, comprehensive social medical care for the whole population, and thereafter Stanborough had to approach medical work differently. It operated for a time as a nursing and maternity home, but in 1968, the necessary decision was taken to close Stanborough. It is a reminder that our institutions don't always go from strength to strength. Sometimes, due to societal factors, for example, they struggle and have to be closed. The Adventist Church no longer has a medical work in the British Isles. June 19 and 20, 1970 were the last 2 days of the 51st General Conference session held in Atlantic City, New Jersey. The session was notable for two reasons. First, it was the last to be held to a quadrennial schedule, that is, every 4 years. The next GC session was to be held 5 years later in 1975 in Vienna, Austria. Second, at the 1970 session, General Conference Secretary Walter R. Beach retired after 14 years, one of the most notable and successful tenures of the secretaryship, during which the church saw the peak number of foreign missionaries being sent out to serve in mission fields. Beach was succeeded by Clyde O. Franz, the 17th man to serve as the second officer of the General Conference. That was This Week in Adventist History.